knew what a downwinder was. We were the anti-nuclear capital of the world. I was an autistic kid. My father was a drafted United States Marine, an incredible man. I come from an incredible family. My uncle stood on Omaha Beach on D-Day. I grew up on a huge ranch out by the lake. He was a beautiful, incredible person. He was at Pendleton, combat ready, and they were human guinea pig. They were marched into the trenches in Nevada. They're called atomic veterans. He nearly died at the blast. Between 1951 and 1968, we had 300 open-air tests. Well, as different scientists started to write about this, Wallace Stegner was at the University of Utah at the time. I got to know him. Edward Abbey was hanging around there. I got to know him. I got to know all these environmentalists, and I was an environmentalist, and it was a passionate, intense subject matter there.
All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. Bloomgate, 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. Bloomgate, 311, whatever you want to call it. I call it Pacific genocide, whatever. It's fucking giant conspiratorial across all demographics. They'll be calling you a radical. May God have mercy on all of your souls.
Nuclear power was evolving. We were promised, oh, this can't happen.
They'll be calling you a radical. Time for all you guys to crawl out of your dogma snug, especially all of you up and down the coast of California, Oregon, Washington, you people in Vancouver, Canada. Crawl out of that dogma snuggie. It's morning time. Look out at that beautiful, spectacular blue gem. Oh, can't smell it. Can't taste it. Can't see it. Kind of the argument. What was the name of that scientist? What was that guy? What was that guy who they said was nuts? They said he was insane. Clear back then, that Hungarian scientist, this is, oh, those are germs. Those germs, they pass between people. Doctors need to wash their hands so they don't kill the mamas and while they're giving childbirth. Oh, let's lock that lunatic up. Let's put him in an insane asylum. Oh, let's beat him to death. Oh, let's see, he was in the insane asylum for 14 days, then they beat him to death for telling the truth. Oh, that's what we do here. Oh, Michael Hastings told the truth. Let's back him into a corner. Let's paint him into a corner. Let's suicide him. Or it doesn't matter if he did it himself or they did it. It doesn't matter. They painted him there. Because he squealed. He told the truth. I got an activist at San Onofre called me, he says, Snowden 2016. I'm like, yeah, I like that. Oh, Aaron Schwarz. Let's put him up on a table. Let's put him up on a pedestal because he's a brilliant young man. Oh, he likes to tell the truth. He's cutting edge. Suicidal or it doesn't matter. Oh, Pat Tillman. Oh, his own brother, his own partner who was standing right next to him who witnessed the murder, says in Congress, on the Hill, right on the Hill, says it. Are you kidding me? This guy says that he wanted to squeeze and we told him no. And they waved his flag like a body. Oh, he was hit with friendly fire fighting off them freaking Taliban terrorists in valor when his old man freaking executed him. Because why? Oh, because he was going to tell the truth. He was keeping a journal. Oh, we come home. God, he's with God. God did it. Yay, Jesus. Thank you on Jesus when you don't even know anything about Jesus. That's the America we live in. To tell the truth, they kill you. Oh, Megan Rice, an 84-year-old nun, the daughter of Dr. Rice, Dorothy Day's protege. Probably the most spiritual person. She tells the truth. She gives her life, her blood, her soul, her entire beautiful spirit to help the poor, to help the hungry, to help the repressed, to help the people, all the people. She gives her life. I gladly give my life to cure this planet of the most evil weapon in history, nuclearism. Megan Rice. Oh, we torture her, an 84-year-old woman in a jail cell. We give her no due process. Oh, when did we hear that story before? Didn't we hear that story before a couple thousand years ago? Oh, that's what we do here in America is we wave the flag. Oh, that's what nuclearism is. Oh, okay, no. We're all crazy, you Foxconn. Today, I'm going to talk a lot about my theory. It's just a theory. Now, when I hypothesize and I theorize, I'll tell you, it's just my theory. I'm not one of these people, I know, I stand on the pulpit and say, God told me this. It's like I told an evangelical preacher. What? Did God sit on your couch, put your arm, and tell you that he needed to mass murder a bunch of Iraqis? An ancient biblical land where the Tigris and the Euphrates met. That ancient biblical land. You mass murder of people for multiple generations. You spray white phosphorus, nuclear waste on your own Marines. I want everybody to never forget this. As my father was nuked to death in the Nevada test site, and I told that story for years and no one wanted to listen. When the so-called secret plan, somebody is killing the Iranian scientists. They're putting bombs on their cars, killing them. They're sabotaging the so-called Iranian nuclear program, which there is no Iranian nuclear program. Pay the Dragon Slayer. Some whistleblower exposes who's doing it. Oh, the secret operation. It's exposed. Eric Holder, greatest Uncle Tom. Well, we know who the other one is. There's nothing black about that guy. Hillary was right about a few things. One, no experience. Two, there's nothing. He's not black enough. What's African American about Barack Obama? Raised by neoconservative white bank examiner in Hawaii. Harvard Law? Barry, are you on the Harvard basketball team? No, why do you ask? A half black man at Harvard Law? That can't be. Cornel West, words not mine. By the way, I love Cornel West. I really love him. I'd love to have him come on my show, and there's an open invitation to him, any of Pat Tillman's people or family, Aaron Schwarz family or people, Michael Hastings. They have an open invitation anytime they want to come on my show, and they can have the whole hour anytime they want. You know, they just call me, email me. They can have the platform anytime they want. Anytime. The whistleblower who came forward, Eric, says, the weakest of the weak, federal prosecutor, the AG, the Attorney General, who didn't go after anybody. Barack Obama's entire memoirs can be written on every page. It can be written. You just open that book, it'll say 2 words. 2 words on every single page. Status quo, status quo, status quo, status quo. He said, we're going to punish this whistleblower to the letter of the law. To the letter of the law. We are going to take this guy apart worse than we did Bradley Manning. Bradley Manning for telling the truth. Oh, let me ask you something. If you saw that collateral damage video, if you saw that, and you say you're a Christian, which you're not. You don't know anything about the teachings of Jesus. You don't know any teachings of Buddha. You don't know any of the teachings of anything. You just make it up. You just make it up. As Lonnie said the other day, you're making brownie points with your God that doesn't exist. I mean, your God that you've made up here. We're not talking about any kind of real fundamental teachings like Christianity or Buddhism or Judaism or Muslim teaches. Megan Rice, that poster she used to carry around, all religions believe in justice. They used to believe in justice. He says, we're going to punish this whistleblower to the letter of the law. We're going to find this guy. We're going to take him apart. We're going to waterboard him. We're going to torture him. That's what we do. That's what we do when we find this guy. He's at it. Oh, they found the guy. Oh, what do you mean? The 5-star United States Joint Chief of Staff, United States Marine. The guy. It was him? Oh, Holder comes out a couple days later, there'll be no punishment. I'm like, yeah, I'll bet there'll be no punishment. Now, why would he do that? I'll tell you why. Because I've been a head of the Atomic Marines, the Atomic Veterans. They're sick and tired. They are sick and tired of their Marines being mass murdered. 40,000 United States Pendleton Marines, those Hollywood Marines, and oh boy, were they Hollywood pretty Marines. Human guinea pig in the Nevada test site. Their tonsils cut out, put in jars, experimented. Killed. They know that. They know that. The Marine Corps knows that. Fallujah. All over Iraq. White phosphorus sprayed on their own Marines. They're coming home and they're dying. Just like the USS Reagan lawsuits. I like all you people in California. You've been in your snuggies the whole time. Ooh, Fukushima, what's that? Is that a new sushi dish? Is that? I've been in Southern California 4 times while in critical condition. I mean, hammering away, chipping away at San Onofre, that nightmare of a reactor. By the way, it's had so many accidents. The incident of cancer in San Clemente, surrounding area. Oh, what's right there at San Onofre? What's right there? Oh, Camp Pendleton. What the irony is, huh? And he doesn't like nuclear. Huh? We know the incidence of cancer is one of the highest in the world right there. Oh, we didn't hear that on NBC or ABC, or Credibility Not Nerded. As now we see the World Health Organization, which is the really world I want to kill you organization, the UN, which has all been captured by the nuclear industry, the IAEA, they are the nuclear industry. Think about the fight over Chernobyl. Their official record says Chernobyl killed 4,000 people. And you understand the fight that went inside when we know that Chernobyl's killed 40 million people and counting. Probably way north of 40 million people. It kills forever. Same here in Utah. They come out, the CDC comes out, the World Health Organization says we have a pandemic of cancer that's getting ready to erupt, which is already erupting. Well, they're posturing, grooming the pot. Well, it's your fault. It's your fault. You're fat. You're lazy. You don't eat right. You don't exercise. You're secondary. That's you. You killed yourself. Well, the only part they got right is we did kill ourselves. Because we hate environmentalists. For 30 years, every one of you out there in the whole country, anybody who said they're environmental, you've spit on them. You've laughed at them. You've made a joke about them. Oh, you environmentalists. You environmentalists, you haven't go kill me a deer. You know, I got this canned hunting guy here. I'm going to fly from Australia, and these guys raise these elk and these deer and these animals. And you come right over here and here, shoot that one. I'll tell you a story about Utah, how grotesque it is. We have the biggest mule deer on the face of the earth out here at Antelope Island. It's an island out at the lake. There's a road that goes out there. That video you see with my hair dyed blue and that beautiful landscape and that, there's a platform that was built there, right there, for environmentalists to do lectures at. I went up in critical conditions. I promise you guys, when I was in the bone marrow transplant center dying. When I was dying, I said, if I come out of here, I promise you I will my hair blue in honor of the mighty blue Pacific. Miracle after miracle after miracle. Given no hope to live, I live. So that's Antelope Island, the biggest mule deer in the world are out there. The old homestead out there, which was restored, I did the plaster work in it. I'm an old plaster, an old rock mason. Laughing plaster, last of the Mohicans. Oh, am I last of the Mohicans with that trade. I still call all the time. Kevin, please, you got to come save my loud plaster. You're it. I says, I'm full of leukemia. Can't. Afraid of the chemicals in the freaking plaster. Can't. I would go out there early in the morning when I plastered those walls, and there was the biggest mule deers in the world would walk up to me almost like my dogs, looking for something to eat out of a hand, and maybe an apple. You magnificent creatures. So here's what Utah does. Utah says, oh, we want to kill one. We want to kill them. So they auction off 2 permits to kill these majestic monarchs that have been living in symphony with tourists out there for years because there's no hunting out there. So they auction them off to guys with dicks probably about an inch long, and you talk about overcompensation. They fly in here, okay, shoot that one. I mean, it's like going to the zoo and just kill that one. I mean, these deer can walk right up to you, and they murder them. It's not hunting. That has nothing to do with hunting. These big high-power rifles that will shoot miles, these scopes, these fat pricks don't even get out of their freaking car to hunt anymore. We ride around, they got these little carts they drive around, and drink freaking beer. Let's drink some Bud Light. Let's have some Bud Light. When Bud Light's not even beer anymore. You know it's not beer. How do they even call it? The greatest advertising campaign in world history, Budweiser. The worst product ever made in history, Budweiser. It's not beer. It's a placebo. I believe there's not even alcohol in it. It's a placebo. It's whenever you think you're getting drunk. Let's give me a 420 pack and let's go up the mountain to see if we can get. So anyway, they kill this deer. They auction it off to permit $20,000. He sells them out for something like $2 million. Canned hunters. These guys fly in. Oh, kill that one. And then they go fucking put a mount on them. Oh, look at me, honey. I mean, that's who you are. Pathetic. Fucking pathetic. But losers. Beyond losers. Beyond fucking losers. They call them, they got some phony, fake, grotesque wife with fake breasts, Botox in her face, dressing 45-year-old, dressing like she's 23, freaking her panties hanging out of her freaking pants, walking around. Oh, it's grotesque. It's disturbing. I mean, it makes me want to vomit. It seriously makes me want to vomit. And she's like, honey, I'm going to Vegas with my friends. They go down there to, do whatever it is they do, which I spent half my life in Vegas. I know what they do. So these guys, in their big, fake, ugly house, their styrofoam fake rock mansion, their facade, it's like this. I talked to a young guy the other day right here in this town. He says, we did a fundraiser to raise canned, that's what this do, the false bravado, that's what they do here. We're humanitarians. We're going to raise food for the homeless. Why we cut food stamps, why the price of one bomb, why we build up the mass military nuclear industrial complex by billions and billions. We sacrificial lamb. Remember this and never forget this. And I reported this. I'm the first one that said that they want to kill Bert and Ernie. I started saying that, carrying on videos a long time ago. Right after Fukushima happened, the debate, the first one, budget debate, the one lunacy one, it was going on in March of 2011. They needed a sacrificial lamb. Billions of dollar budget. What it was a sacrificial lamb. They come down to two things. Kill Bert and Ernie, PBS, one of the only decent things this country's ever did. Or cut food inspection. They cut food inspection by $10 million, the price of one bomb. When Fukushima's ongoing, when the whole food inspection should have been, the TPP everybody's having a fit about, we already got that. It's called NAFTA. Bill Walmart Clinton signed that. Oh, I'm the next John Kennedy. Look at me. I'm John Kennedy. William Jefferson freaking, why do you think he's married to Hillary? See Jennifer Flowers, Monica Lewinsky over. Why do you think Hillary never cared? You think that marriage is out of love? You really think it's out of love? You really think that? Let's see, Hillary Rodham Clinton. How many neoconservative freaking Queen's puppets bloodlines are she related to? Where did they meet? Oh, yeah. Oh, Oxford, Rhodes Scholar in economics, the anti-tariff school, who've been trying to beat back tariffs ever since Hamilton put them in place in 1789 before the Bill of Rights was there. Oh, yeah, that's who they are. Foxconn. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about Foxconn. This is me hypothesizing. This is what I believe. It is impossible to think. Now, you really think about this. As an evangelical leader, as Southern Baptist, as the Methodist, all these spin-off of Christianity, the multiple of them across the United States, the Mormon Church. Right here, I watched it. KSL, the big media outlet, went all in mass murder. All in mass murder. In the name of Jesus. Through Fox News. The guy who's the voice of Fox News you hear on their commercials, he's from here. He came from KSL. KSL's embedded in Fox News in a deep, hardcore fashion. Glenn Beck, they brought him here. You know, I used to be all fucked up, Lord. Now I'm all fucked up on the dope. Now that I'm fucked up all the Lord. W. Bush, Glenn Beck, mentally ill lunatics who belong in a 12-step program, and I think they'd even get thrown out. You ever been to a 12-step AA meeting? The early book guys, the hard, self-indulged, me, never grew up. That's them. They never grew up. They never grew up. They're children. Just like somebody came to me, she says, "Oh, Kev, you need to grow up. That language of yours. I show them the family members." Me grow up? Me? I grew up a long fucking time ago. I'll tell you who never fucking grew up. You, as baby boomers. Spoiled children. Let's see, your kids, they go play video games where they mass murder. You buy fucking toys, pink fucking guns for your kids, machine guns for your fucking kids. You watch, Victoria's Secret runway fucking models in prime time. Do you have erectile dysfunction? That's what your kids hear all day, every day. I'm the problem with your kids? No, I'm the fucking solution. Me and Megan Rice and FEMEN and Pussy Riot and Aaron Schwarz and Michael Hastings, we defend your children, and you kill us. You spit on us. You kick us into the fucking corner. You incarcerate us. You literally kill us. Literally. As that was said, Kevin, you've been so hardcore anti-nuclear, then you get the hardest radical form of leukemia. I think they mailed it to you in the mail. And so they didn't have to mail it to me in the mail. They mailed it to all of us in the mail. It's called the jet stream. We all got it in the mail now. The acute dichotomy of cancer, that just happened. People would say, that just happened. Cancer's going psychotic. Everybody says, I just take it for granted. I'm going to get cancer. Really? You'll cut your breasts off. You'll cut your prostate out. You'll fucking scar yourself. Go through there's a cure for this. Is the egotistical fucking ignorance of the fucking baby boomers. They got and why shouldn't they have the freaking platform? Why shouldn't they? One of the dumbest, low IQ, uneducated human beings in world history was orchestrating one of the biggest mass murder, George W. Bush. That's one of the dumbest human beings in history. And his whole thing, the Fox News dichotomy, those people, Sean Hannity, Glenn Beck, you go over and over, Foxconn. They're some of the dumbest people in human history. Well, then how were they able to pull it off? I believe that there was a CIA, the military-industrialized complex, that dichotomy that's always existed. We know that they play this. We know. They did it in the peace movement in the 60s in L.A., the Canyon. We know that. Factually. I believe, here's what I believe. I don't know it, but I think and I call it Foxconn, not to be confused with Foxconn. That's Apple's freaking slave ownership. I believe that the CIA in the 90s went in to Fox News, struck a deal with Rupert Murdoch. By the way, Rupert Murdoch's Chinese gold-digging whore wife, who she knew that his oldest children had a clause that he couldn't be Anna Nicole Smith because they knew he was vulnerable to be Anna Nicole Smith. They had a clause in there, but she got smart. She beat them at that clause. She heard him squirted out 2 babies from him. They just recently got divorced, and it was because she was having an affair. She had multiple affairs. Anyway, that was out of love. She married him out of love. You know who she was having the affair with? Yeah, Tony Blair. Talk about the anti-porn. Sickos. I believe the CIA went to Fox. I believe they went to the evangelical leaders. Joe, Jesus died so we could be rich. And they incorporated a thesis that Jesus died so we could mass murder innocent people who never did anything. Thou shalt not kill. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. Oh, boy. Will I forgive? Who am I to forgive? Sure ain't going to forget. They beat the drums hard to death, death, death. Put a yellow sticker on your car. You turn on to this day, Fox, that's all they do. And these are dumb, ignorant people. Glenn Beck's a very dumb person. Very dumb. I mean, you think about it. I had a flag man good. Remember he went on his crying fit? And the Dow was 6,300 that day. 6,300. So, silver was what, 35? Sell it all by silver. That's what he told you. That's what he pounded. The Dow is 16,000. Silver 18. That's called opportunity cost. So let's get out your freaking HP flux capacity, kids. That's what I do in my class. I was a finance professor. We call it 101, Finance 101, kids. Let's teach you how to balance your checkbook. Let's talk about opportunity cost. So you sold your Dow at 6,200 with the dividend reinvestment. Yeah, that's right. Most of those stocks paid dividends, kids. It's now 15,000 and change. With the dividend, okay, so 6,200. Okay, that's 12,400 is 100%. Plus, so with the dividend, we're 180%. So your 10,000 that you sold that day that Glenn Beck told you to, how much is it worth now if you just left it in there? $27,532. Oh, you bought silver at 55. Silver is at what, 19 today? It doesn't matter. Silver, gold, you need to own silver, gold. I'm all for it. You need a piece of that, but it's the price you pay. I'm not talking about what it's going. I'm talking about what it is today. That's all that counts, because when you go into the bone marrow transplant center, they don't accept gold bars and silver. They don't accept it. You'll have to exchange that for American currency so you can pay for your bone marrow transplant, which I did. I'm talking about, will gold go higher? I don't know, but I'm talking about what it is today. So you sold that 10,000 under the advice of Foxconn, Beck, Hannity, all of them, including Max Kaiser, which I love Max Kaiser and States. I love them, but he's done pounded silver and he's been dead wrong. When I hear him say, Max Kaiser say, I guarantee gold will go on in episode 496. They had this moron on. I was a derivative arbitrage specialist on Wall Street for years. What is the wealth of the world? How do they protect their wealth? That's what I did for a living. They buy high dividend yield stocks. That's all you need to do. It's always worked. It will always work. Why? Why high dividend yield stocks? Because when they don't pay a dividend unless they're so financially secure. Because to cut a dividend is suicide to a company. They know that. And when a company goes out of vogue, you just sell it and move it. That's what wealth protection guys do. So you bought silver. Okay, what's your silver worth today? So your $10,000 now at 35.18. So your 10,000 is worth $5,380. So instead of having 27,000, you have 5,000. That's a freaking bloodbath. Oh, your money doesn't matter. You sure are obsessed over it for people that don't think it matters. That's what Foxconn did to you. That's what they all did to you. That's Foxconn. Oh, are you paying a price? As they pound all those environmentalists, kill them. Rob Bishop, the worst politician in the history of the state of Utah, is our congressman here. He hates me with a passion. I hate him with a passion. He's a fraud, but he's our elected official, so I talk to him. Michael, he's our elected official, so I do what I can do, and I talk to them, and, we have conversations in a cordial way. He introduced a bill today the eagles are dying here. Eagle Day is coming up here. They're all dead, and it's not West Nile, and I've confirmed that, by the way. Feeding on the dead grebes, and they migrate from Alaska, our eagles. All dead, right beyond my house, all dead. He introduced a bill yesterday. He introduced a bill to cut the environmental protection laws on the eagles, on all these things, because of the litigation. To give more carte blanche, not Kevin Blanch, carte blanche to the extractors. Natural resources, most countries have what we call solvent wealth funds. You don't even know what a solvent wealth fund is. Solvent wealth fund is a country. It's their money. Into the constitutions of many countries, it belongs to the people. Norway's, the Netherlands, Switzerland's have made gigantic gains because they've been good investors. High dividend yield stocks. They've held their ground. And their natural resources belong to the people. Our natural resources here do not belong to us. All of North America. They belong to whatever powers there be, mostly the Queen, Kennecott, Rio Tinto, the biggest open pit mines, right here. That's who the natural resources. So we're going to go to Iraq and we're going to mass murder. We'll get their oil. We'll get their oil? What, are you on the board of directors of BP? You're on the board of directors of Shell Oil? Are you Dick Cheney's niece? Daughter? By the way, I used to date Dick Cheney's niece. She's pretty cute, too. I like that girl. She's crazy. I mean, she's insane, but what a pair her and I made. And that was during the war pieces. Oh, some of the good debates we used to have. But she's a good person. Most people up there in that neck, Casper, Wyoming, I spent a lot of time, Casper, Cody. Magnificent place. That's where he's from. Oh, that's where Pollock was from. Yeah, that's there. They've been tricked by Foxconn. The Mormon church, I think, was paid. Now you think about the evangelicals, all these preachers. How can they preach mass murder in the name of Jesus, completely the opposite of any teaching of any of these religious philosophies, yet they all went along with it? How is that possible? Is that possible? Was it really they were paid to do it and they took money to do it? I don't know. I think they were. I think it's called Foxconn. I think it was to build up the military mass industrial complexes is going away. And we know that's happened in the past. We know factually. It's been exposed that it's happened many times in the past. That's how they play. And you all went around. You all went with it. You put a yellow sticker on your car. You go to Walmart, the New East India Company, and you buy your Apple phones and your Apple products and your clothes from Shirtwaist Fire 2.0 in Bangladesh. This simply, America is simply. These philosophies, the Illuminati, everybody from doing those philosophies have always been there. That's what the Revolutionary War was about. It was a tariff war. White Anglo-Saxons had been living in North America for a very, very long time. Why did the war just erupt? It was a tariff war. Sam Adams and the boys dressed up like Indians threw that tea over because they were the ones smuggling tea. You're not going to cut in on our turf. So it evolved from tea to cocaine to now nuclearism. The criminals don't have to they turn to white-collar crime because white-collar crime, you make billions in white-collar crime. Somebody says, give us a list of these people. I've given you a list. It's called the Board of Directors of Westinghouse, the Board of Directors of General Electric, the Board of Directors of Apple, the Board of Directors, all of them. They have names and that. It's public knowledge. Lloyd Blankfein, we know. And Occupy went to his house, set up, but what do? They've got so much money now. They just get on their Learjets and go to one of their other multiple houses. It's been sucked up to no end. So we don't fight back. And it's the same philosophy that has always existed from the early days of mankind. Is slavery immoral or is slavery not immoral? It is the basic fundamental theory in what is the fun? Okay, Economics 101. You walk into my class when I used to teach. What's the basics of economics, the foundation of all of it? Scarcity. Do we have a scarcity of labor? No. We have a billion workforce in Asia that we enslave. Oh, yeah, but we give them a house to live in, Fox will tell you, that nets are around. I would jump out of the building and kill myself, too. We give them a concrete bunker to live in, and we feed them. That's called slavery. Same philosophies in the antebellum South. Same philosophy is always going on. Same philosophies in the steel mills of Pittsburgh with child labor. Same philosophy, 1911, March 25th, in Manhattan, that infamous day, the Shirtwaist Fire. Is it moral or is it immoral? It's immoral. So you either buy into the philosophy, which everybody in this country has bought into the philosophy, it is moral, it is just, it is right. We are fine with enslaving another person. We buy our... Remember when Kathleen Gifford took so much shit about having kids in her sweatshops? Now nobody cares. Everything's made by slaves. There's a big debate going in China right now about wage inflation. Because instead of making 12 cents an hour, they're making up to 37 cents. So they've moved to Indonesia, where slavery is legal. They pay them zero. In China, how many women do we execute a day? They execute it. NFL players running down the field with hair extensions from executed Chinese prisoners. Women. If you get caught with a bag of marijuana in freaking China, they execute you. They execute young people because there's an incentive to execute young people because they have vans set up there. And this is a fact. Look it up. It's true. They cut the body parts out and fly them here to the United States as we nuclearize and cannibalize ourselves. Fukushima is the top of the heap because they eat their own. Now, my teaching style breaks off. And that's the way I used to teach in my class. Because I don't want to sit and spoon feed you. I want you got a keypad. I mean, the greatest information tool in human history is called YouTube. The greatest art genre in human history, YouTube, Google. Yeah, you have to find out for yourself. But we used to have to do the same thing with books when we went to college. When we were young, we'd have to dig through 15 books to find one paragraph. You don't even have to do that. You know how much work it was for us? The information age is giant. The post-ignorant generation, yeah. They're smarter than us? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We've repressed them and pushed them, the military-industrialized force, because when we were young, look at what we did. Look what we did. I mean, every one of us would freaking go to Supermax. I mean, Edward Abbey, when he wrote Monkey Ranch Gang, was required reading here in junior high school. He wrote that book today, he would go to Supermax. The greatest writer, which I knew personally. I knew him personally. I knew Wallace Stegner personally. They would all roll in the grave. The Sierra Club, I had an argument. Stegner, Tim, blowing here for the Utah Energy Conference. Me and him went at it. I said, tell these young people how you got here. Tell them how you got here. Stegner wouldn't spend their money until he was killed in that car wreck in New Mexico. By the way, in Carlsbad, in the cavern, yeah, it's on fire. Well, it was on fire. They're saying, oh, we got it out with the salt truck that caught on fire. Now, let's talk about this real quickly. That's the pilot repository. Now, what does that mean, the pilot repository? Yucca Mountain, by law, when the whole nuclear industry built up in the 60s and 70s, by law, part of the deal that was struck to allow these monsters to build these godforsaken things because we knew there was no answer for the waste, was Yucca Mountain. Yucca Mountain got built. Harry Reid's got a lot of power. He grew up at Yucca Mountain. They don't want it down there. I don't blame them. Who wants it? So the pilot, the test for Yucca Mountain is in Carlsbad, New Mexico. Low level, just clothing and stuff. Don't you love that, how they always say it's low level? It's not low level. We know what's in there. Us anti-nukers know what's in there. Some of the filthiest, nastiest freaking waste on Earth here in the Energy Solutions. It caught on fire. They say they got it out. Oh, no one was hurt. That's these regurgitating monkeys. Foxconn. That's what they'll tell you. Oh, you crazy environmentalists. Well, let's see. Us crazy environmentalists. We fought and scrum for 30, 40 years now. The Environmental Act of 1970 or 71 passed, I think, 333-1. Because this country was environmentally conscious. Why? Because we were working 40 hours a week. Because we had tariffs. We had time to read books. I can break every single thing that is flawed in this country down to tariffs. I used to do it in my classroom. I used to break it all down. We know that obesity is caused by stress. You can even be on a diet and still gain weight. We know. It's the human cell, at the cellular structure, stress. You're overworked. Because your mom and dad, when we grew up, your dad worked 40 hours a week. 40. Time and a half, double time. Mom stayed home, raised kids. How did they afford to have 4 or 5 kids? Because the average American made $106,000 in today's money. So labor had all the power. We didn't need health care because if your employer wasn't giving you really great, incredible health care, really great retirement benefits, all this, you told them to fuck off and you walk down the street to the next guy. They were done. Tariffs. Let's see, what do tariffs say? If we put a 25 or 30% tariff on imported slave goods from China, would they quit importing stuff from China? They're nothing but American companies. They're American companies that just want whoop, whoop. Same people, same monsters, same board of directors, but you fuel them. Oh, them tariffs are bad because Foxconn told me they were bad. The Mormon Church told me they were bad. They were paid by the CIA to tell you they were bad. All of the religious organizations should have their tax-free status jerked from them. They preached politics from the pulpit in a hardcore way. They still do. That's a fact. I live here. They have completely lost their way. religion in America. As I put up that video, religion in America by definition. Is Megan Rice the greatest spiritual person in this country? Maybe in 100 years. You know, Mary Evelyn Tucker spoke of, in that courtroom, she spoke of Gandhi. She spoke of Martin Luther King. She spoke of Mandela. But she says Megan Rice lives that lineage. Right outside the courtroom, as I did my radio show outside the courtroom, I walked out and there's 3 young evangelical preachers preaching there. Young kids preaching Jesus.
You should be back live now, Kevin.
Sorry about that. I probably lost all my audience, but we got a nice 7, 8. I don't know what happened. You know, we got cut off. What next? Let's get back and try to finish this up. You know, we crop it. I don't know. What next, huh? This is what we're up against. I mean, it's one thing after another. That's what happens when we're organic. It's a freelance guy, a bunch of freelance activists fighting the well-fundedest nuclear cartel in world history, the IAEA, the World Health Organization, the nuclear cabal through your tax dollars. With a guy who's full of AML leukemia, a few people trying to fight this in an organic way, it's not easy. You know, when we're unfunded, we have no money. We're doing this grassroots. Talk about an uphill battle. Wow. Let's get back to Foxconn. Let's get back to what I believe they funded these preachers. They funded the Mormon Church. They funded KSL. They funded. I'll tell you a really great story. A lot of people don't know this. The Elizabeth Smart case folds into this grammatically, which, by the way, Ed Smart's on Fox all the time. Ed Smart was broke off his ass. Here's what people do around the country, especially in Utah. It's not about who I am, it's what you think I am. They all build these great, big, ugly houses, these styrofoam fake mansions. Why? Because the appraisal process works here on square footage. So they build it very cheaply, these big, ugly monsters, and they just keep refining. That's how they live. That's their facade. That was Ed Smart, this great, big, ugly house he's living in. He has 2 young daughters in the house. Okay, so I was a father of young daughters at the time. I was a contractor. You think I'm just going to call anybody and let them in my house? Are you kidding? Ed Smart refused. You know, you need heating and air conditioning guy. You need this done. You need that done. You call a reputable contractor who does background checks on their employees to bring them in the house. He has young daughters playing the harp. The mom is your quintessential neocon Mormon mom who sits around and eats pills and just smiles all day. You know, keeps her repressed because, again, they believe in anti-womanism. They believe in ageism. They believe in racism. They believe in slavism. So he would go down and get homeless people. You know what he would pay the homeless people to do work on their house? You need to paint here. Bring them in the house. He would feed them a sandwich. That's a fact. He did it to multiple. The little girl gave the FBI a list of 50 people. Okay, I'm listening to KSL, the big, you know, which I think was funded for, they used to have all these people on the radio. I'm listening to everybody's freaking out over this case. He went right through the back window. Well, they knew it. They had dogs up there, and the dogs tracked right up into these beautiful mountains, right up behind his house in Salt Lake. A guy called in that was up there tracking. He says, hey, I see this guy that looks just like, he's got long hair. He looks like Jesus. The pictures of Jesus. You know, this, you know, hippie-looking, beatnik, freaking long hair guy. And I started following, and he disappeared into the side of the mountain. That's right, live on KSL in the afternoon. Nobody followed it up. It was him. It was him. This guy was a Utah guy, Mormon guy, who went amok, he was one of the homeless guys. Anyway, I mean, if you've seen that guy, you would bring him in your house. He called himself Emmanuel. There's a huge homeless population in Salt Lake City, Utah. That little girl, her little sister, gave a list of 50 people, including that guy, 300 FBI agents on the case. His own children, his own family says, why didn't they come talk to us? And he was right here. We knew he was a pedophile. We knew that he was, you know, he was right here under the sun the whole time. On the list, 300 agents. So what did the 300 FBI agents do? They did nothing. That's what America does. You get a job and a name and a title like a marine biologist. You do nothing. They didn't investigate him or his family. His family says it. Why didn't they come talk to us? She showed up in pictures of families, parties right there by their house. There she was. There's photographs and murders the whole time. The whole time she was right there under their nose the whole time. But whose fault was it? Ed Smart, his money. Look who I am. Anyway, he ended up, the rape of his daughter, he got rich. By the way, our new congressman, our new district, and we have a new district here, Stewart. He's writing a book about Liz Smart. They've all propaganda. They're making money off her rape. The mass rape of that young female. They are profiting, including Ed Smart profited grotesquely off the rape of his own daughter. He caused that. Who does that? And the police, the FBI. Finally, she says, I knew the voice. That little girl knew the voice. Finally, all that time later, that night, it finally came in that brilliant young girl's head, that brilliant, beautiful young girl's head. It's Emmanuel. She told her dad. Finally came to her. She obviously blocked that out, but she gave him that name on that list. And they ran that composite sketch in the paper. The Tribune ran that sketch. There he was, standing right there on State Street with her, dressed in their garb, him and the wife, and, who was this? Another schizophrenic, gone crazy. There they were. Right on State Street, the main street in Salt Lake City. Everybody's calling, hey, come check these people out. Cops just will over there talk to them. Yeah, it's them. So who caused that? Foxconn. Were they paid to do it, or they just did it? I mean, it's hard for me to wrap my mind around it. And I see it here. I see it in our community over and over and over and over and over. I see the flip in our community. How could they preach this war machine, this mass murder war machine? How could they possibly preach that from the pulpit? How could they possibly preach that? In the name of Jesus? How is that possible? How could 3 young evangelical preachers be standing in the streets of Tennessee when Megan Rice is within feet from them, in a courtroom, being incarcerated, being tortured, and not know anything, and not care? Because, I don't know. It's hard to wrap your mind around it. Were they paid to do it? Well, we know that, I don't know. It's just a hypothesis of mine. Foxconn. You think about it. People are indoctrinated. They sit in the complete opposite, Warren Buffett say, happiness is not knowing what your credit score is and not giving anybody. Yeah, oh boy, is that true. They incorporated that through the banking cartel. But you've all participated. You can't have a conversation about tariffs. You can't have a conversation about usury laws. What's usury? You can't have a conversation about antitrust laws. Oh, the Seattle Seahawks won the Super Bowl. Paul Allen, one of the greatest thieves in human history. Bill Gates, maybe the greatest thief in human history, stole everything, never invented anything. Talk to Clarkson, talk to all of this big technology, talk to us here, Word Perfect Novell, talk to us here. I can really get into that dichotomy, how he stole it all from here. Stole everything he ever had. That's Paul Allen. Oh, the Seahawks, we're going to go on the streets and hang. Why, Seattle, Washington got some of the most heavy hammered rainstorms when the plume came over North America. The first 5 days after Fukushima, the cancer rate's spiking all over Seattle, Washington. Don't even want to talk about it. Don't even want to talk about it. What a thumbprint of America. What, as it used to say, Ken Barnes showed that baseball mirrors Americana. Oh boy, it does. Well, football's American pastime now. NFL players running down the field with hair extensions from Chinese executed prisoners. The great-great-grandsons of antebellum slave South, even they don't believe that slavery is bad. The whole country believes slavery's okay. We'll go to Walmart and buy these goods from, how many shirtwaist fires we have in Bangladesh? Happens every month. I think the last one killed several thousand people. Blood in your garments. These my post-ignorant shirts that we have made, whatever, they're made here. You can buy stuff made here, and they're quality, and they're nice. But we all participate because this is an age-old philosophy. And we as baby boomers, and us in America, and Western Europe, you talk about all your problems in Western Europe, you participate, you do the same thing. You do the same thing. We participate because we believe slavery is good for the slaves, those Asians over there. They're not people. We're doing them a favor. It's the age-old philosophy. Either you believe in it or you don't believe in it. You know, Hamilton didn't believe in it. He watched the slave trade as a young boy in the Caribbean. He was really the first abolitionist. Abraham Lincoln didn't believe in it. McKinley didn't believe in it. Even Teddy, I don't think, believed in it. FDR sure he didn't believe in it. He listened to his inauguration. Goes on, Jesus Christ threw the money changers out of the temple over and over and over and over. Our usury is a quintessential pillar to Christianity. This is usury, beyond usury. Impoverish your people, then take advantage of that impoverished people. That's slavery. John Kennedy sure didn't believe in it. But every president post sure does believe in it. And the people that, well, you know, it's like, oh, we hate politicians, you know, they mess up your vote. Well, you know, we don't care. But you don't even know who your representative is. You don't know the difference between a congressman and a senator. You have two senators, you have one congressman in your district. You don't know who they are. Oh, I know who mine is. The only thing he's done in 12 years is he passed a bill that you could take your concealed weapon into a national park, which was against the law. We never had a murder in a national park. Never. Yeah, we really need to protect yourself and then far from them crazy German tourists. They're scary. Well, here's the claim to his fame, and his soul as a higher youngster is going to rot in the lowest form of hell. Little girl got in her mom's purse in Yellowstone this summer. Oh, head blown off. Ed, that's his claim to fame. Laws that we don't need. Sorry about the big gap in time. I don't know what happened, but we're organic. We're trying. See it Diablo Canyon on Valentine's Day on a Via Pier. Stand tuned. We're going to call attention to Diablo Canyon.
All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. All nuclear fighters, all hands on deck, all hands on deck, all hands on deck. They'll be calling you a radical. Twingate, 311, whatever